Hi, all. I'm Callan Haynes, and welcome to Lawyer Lending Live. Of course, with Ray Kroc and Jim Rohn in the background there. My next guest is an absolute powerhouse in the realm of commercial property and development, 20 years in banking and financial planning, and works at Intium Capital, where the collective founders have a 70 years experience in the industry. We're here to talk about all things commercial property and what's going on in the industry. Could you please make very welcome Stephen Shaw with a V. How are you, Stephen?
I'm fantastic. Yourself, Callum?
Very, very well. And you tell me offline that you are currently broadcasting live from the Harry Potter room in the Tattersalls Club. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So our office is in St Leonard's, but I find it's good to make it easy for clients. So I operate our Tattersalls Club, which is looks over Hyde Park, and yeah, I'm in the Harry Potter room, which I believe is looks like the Harry Potter movies. There's a bit of story of the Tattersalls Club. Actually, it's used to have horse racing at Hyde Park, so a lot of people didn't know that. People sort of know Ramwick, but yeah, they operate. They used to do the bookies and everything there, and a lot of people know City Tatterstalls. Basically, there used to be some members at Tatterstalls Club that paid some jockeys, and they said they were going to go start another place with a similar name just down the road. So that's the history of City Tatterstalls and Tatterstalls Club. So, but yeah, it's a great
Oh, there
place. It's
you
got
go.
pool inside, gym, squash courts, everything. So yeah, it's great.
This is an unpaid advertisement for Tattersalls Club, everyone. So it's an honour to have you here there,
That's right.
Steve. It's 12:10 in Sydney. Please put your questions in the comments, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. We're broadcasting live. But what is happening in your circle of influence? What are you seeing in your realm of what you're doing, Steve?
Yeah, look, I mean, interest rates are obviously a hot topic at the moment, but I think sort of generally there's particular areas. Sydney, they're talking about there's 5 million people currently, so they're talking about having 8 million people in Sydney, 8.5 in Melbourne. So, and obviously open up the borders. So I see property will continue to go up until we've got a larger population. So that's sort of some of the explanation, I guess, sort of why does property keep going up, and where it goes up the most is generally in these blue chip areas. Your Bondi Beach, your Manly, Mossman, because even when interest rates go up, people still want to buy it. So that's sort of one of the areas we focus in, and yeah, I think that's sort of great, but also attracts good tenants as well. People want to rent in those good areas, and that's why we focus in those.
That's absolutely right. And if someone were to ask what your core thing or value add that you do for your clients is, I know that you do quite a lot. What would you say your real specialty is?
Yeah, for me personally, coming from a financial planning background, I say I help high performers to be sure. So I really just take away the noise, the BS, and tell people what they need to know to make the right decisions. So I think that's sort of a good starting point. I'm not a product flogger. I'm really about sort of understanding what people are after and helping them make the right decision. Sometimes that's with what we do, and sometimes it's through a warm introduction to someone else. So I always sort of encourage people to have a chat and see how I can add value. What we do on a property space, though, is it's quite unique. 70% of these properties are done off the market. So to sort of go find these properties yourself, it's really hard. And often they're at a inflated price. Then we have a skill set of sort of getting a DA approval. So in the case of our Bondi property, we work with a tenant first. So they wanted to expand into Bondi. We found them a place that was off the market. We helped them to then get a DA approval. It's hard to get a DA approval unless you know who actually owns the property. So there's about 3 people in Bondi that own those areas. We got them to support our DA, and we got it approved in 5.5 weeks. So that was a record for Woollahra Council. And because the tenant's got a buy-in, they sign up a lease agreement, and then they want to renovate it. So they pay for the cost for the renovations. They're paying sort of close to $1 million a year rent, why they're doing that. And that's great for investors because they're getting income along the way, plus they're getting capital upside for the renovations as well. So yeah, look, I think that's sort of where we're quite unique. It's in really good areas, which is a level of safety, but also strong capital gains, and you're getting consistent income because you're attracting a quality tenant. There we have 300 plus brand tenants, McDonald's, Harris Farm, Hard Rock Cafe. So all these tenants are sort of working with us to find these good areas. And yeah, I think that's sort of something that's quite unique. Coming from a financial planning background, I don't see many of those sort of options out there. So that's what attracted me to sort of join this company. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And we've obviously put it as the title today: build a property portfolio in Bondi, Manly, Balmoral. What is it? What is it about those areas in particular that are quite special?
Look, yeah, probably a good way to give analysis. If you understand sort of blue chip stocks, CSLs, your BHPs, your CBAs, what people like about those areas or those stocks is there's a level of safety because they're well established stocks, but generally they take a long time. It's longer growth. It's not as strong. With somewhere like a Bondi Beach, even through GFC, through COVID, there's been averaging about 10.5% capital gains. So there's not the level of fluctuations. And I sort of try and logically explain that's because Australia's population is still growing. But yeah, these particular areas, I think when you're looking for an investment, there's three things. It's about returns. It's about minimizing the costs for the product, and also safety in preserving your capital. So if you've got a great area that's really people could probably transact the next day. People are sort of lining up for these areas and they're getting good, strong capital gains. It's sort of different to the shares because that's actually the best capital return compared to, say, your tier 2 and tier 3 areas. So yeah, that's what we like about them. I think sort of, when you're thinking about it, when you're at a barbecue and you're around with your friends and family and you're talking about your investments, if you can say you've got a portfolio built up of Bondi, Manly, and Balmoral Beach, it's quite impressive. But what's sort of more impressive is that sort of actually getting the best returns as well. And we're pretty open with sort of backing that up as well. We'll show you valuations, we'll show you the financials to show we're actually getting these level of returns. And we've done analysis with RP data the last 30 years to sort of back up what we're saying as well. So I think that's a different. A lot of people can say things, but can you back it up as well? And that sort of comes back to where I take away the noise. Yeah.
It's quite data driven what you'll do as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's data driven, but you also got to have the relationships to build it. If you've got sort of 40 plus years there's two families. I work with the Hasten family and the Huang family. Hasten family's got 40 plus years of 3 generations of networks to do these things. Huang family, similar situation. So yeah, definitely the data's got to back it up, and but also having a network. And it's the same with sort of going to private. Why does a kid go to a private school? It's because they get a certain amount of connections, and that sort of sets them up for life. That's sort of the same with property. You need to have a good network of people.
No, it makes sense. Absolutely. And in terms of what you're doing in the market right now, a lot of it is commercial, but some is a mix, I believe. I'd love to tease that out a little bit more.
Yeah, so we focus in commercial retail as a general basis, and that's sort of where our existing portfolios. But we are looking at a new project. I can't say exactly where it is, but I'm pretty excited about it. It's definitely going to be in Mossman, and it's potentially going to be also some luxury apartments as well, and with commercial shops downstairs, and we'll have a view of Balmoral Beach. So look, we should have some IMs available in the next sort of couple of weeks. So if people are interested in that, it's rare that you sort of really get excited about something. I think this is sort of definitely, all those areas are great, but the one in Mossman is going to be pretty special. So it's going to be sort of first in, first dressed. It's going to sell itself, and our founder or chairman, James, is so excited about it. He do it himself, but he really wants to bring this to the investors as well. So yeah, look, I think once you know the sort of full detail, you'll understand exactly why I'm so excited about it as well.
Very good. And you're balancing all this with a new addition to the family, I believe a 3 or 4 month old right now.
Yeah, 4 months. I got my first child, Hugo. Look, it's hard to explain to someone that hasn't had a kid, just sort of how special that is. But it really gives you a purpose in life. It's hard. I've started doing video calls at lunchtime with my child because I sort of get home sometimes and he feels like he really misses me. So that's sort of definitely helping. But yeah, look, it's me and my wife really wanted to have kids, and yeah, like everyone, it's sort of not always easy sort of thing. So it was great, and we've got a very healthy boy, and yeah, he's combination of both. So I'm obviously Australian, sort of with my accent and skin color. My wife's from Brazil, so he's yeah, very much a cute child, and yeah, it definitely is one of best things in life for people when they're ready. It's I'm used to not sleeping. Sleeping's overrated, but yeah, it's
No
and
one needs
also
to
it's
sleep
good because
anymore, right?
that's right, and you don't need to plan either. Your schedule becomes around your child as well. So yeah, I used to sort of sometimes sit there thinking about things. I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's yeah, that fills up my time. So but yeah, it's fantastic. So and I understand, Caroline, you've got a child as well. So yeah,
I do,
have to
Stephen.
share some more
9-month-old
stories too.
Benji. Absolutely.
9 months. So
Absolutely. Similar sort of
you've
thing.
got five
Yes.
months on me. So I'd love to hear some tips. So we'll have to
Oh,
take that
well, just
offline.
be ready for when they start, when Hugo starts crawling and moving around. It'll be quite an experience, let me tell you. So enjoy the
Yeah,
stationary
well, you can
potato
turn.
phase, is what I say.
Yeah, we can turn over. So he can turn over from his back to his front, but he's not always can get back over. So sort of at the moment, he's managed to negotiate into our bed because we're worried he can't get back over it with the cot. So, but it's all right. No.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely got some more tips that I'll share with you. But anyone tuning in now, obviously it is 12:20. Before we close the stream, is there any like 3 main tips you want to give to prospective investors or those looking to get into commercial property because they've always done the resi thing? What are the 3 tips or things that people don't know they didn't know that you'd like to impart?
Yeah, look, I mean, I deal with a lot of self-employed and people are used to obviously making their own decisions. And I think this is sort of one of those things where if you're to go do it yourself, as I said, there a lot of these properties aren't available on the market. So that's a challenge. Yeah, you probably only got 30% available on the market. You need to have a skill set of getting a DA approval. Sometimes people go out and purchase a property and then they want to do something and they find that they can't get a DA. And also you need to sort of know a network of who to do it with. So look, I think it's sort of a good thing to sometimes work with a professional your first time. So something like this, with our property fund, you can sort of get into it. You get the exposure. We have teams that help with other questions as far as DAs and doing, with investments. And a lot of people will come to us. They bought a property, they want to start with a bottle shop, and then they couldn't do that. So we've helped them out. So we've got that level of service. So I think sort of, especially if you want to do it the first time, maybe it's good to work with a professional and get some of those skill sets, and you're getting access to properties that maybe are hard to get otherwise. So I think that's a good starting point. And then from there, you've established a relationship with people who've got a lot of experience, and that you can have you go at sort of doing it yourself, but have the skill set to do it. But on the other side, we have what's called deal flow. So with this Mossman project, you can get involved in that individually, and it's a really good opportunity, which is going to have a really good return on investment. And maybe that's sort of something you go, well, look, if I can get involved in that, I still have some level of control when I'm choosing the property, and you can do it yourself as well. So yeah, I think they're the sort of things to consider. I'll give you sort of one story. Like we want to do a Hard Rock Cafe at Manly. So similar to Bondi, you need to know there's certain people that own those areas, and we had that sort of signed off with Hard Rock because we've got a good experience with these tenants. We advertise the Manly Daily, and there's basically two people that own the pubs, and they sort of own the properties and have a good say in that. They approached us and said, well, look, if you go down this path, we'll put in 192 complaints. So this is the thing you can, even if you know what you're doing, can experience. And we actually decided it was better to do something that complements those pubs, and they support the DA. So yeah, these are types of things that it's really difficult to do that. We've also got a bottle shop, which, as a bit of a layman to sort of property, I didn't realize how powerful a bottle shop is, and how difficult it is to get a license. This is where a lot of people do approach us when they sort of buy these properties and want to do a bottle shop. You need to have a chemist, you need to have food outlets, you need to get it approved through a liquor license, you need also gambling as well. And there's only a certain amount of involved in particular areas. We got one of the last ones, and it's opposite Mirvac luxury apartments, and near where they're building the light rail Crow's Nest as a prime location. And we've even had competitors approach us for offering increased rates. So those types of things, there's a lot of sort of unknowns, and sort of come back to maybe sort of the best thing you can do is work with a professional the first time to get level of guidance, build a relationship with someone like Max Hastings has been doing it for three generations. I'm sure he can help you to do it the right way, even if you want to go out on your own.
Fantastic. And where can people find you? Where are you hanging out most these days?
Yeah, look, the best way is probably you can send me an email, or maybe start with connect with me on LinkedIn. This is Stephen Shaw Initium. So that's probably a good way. But you can meet me at Tattersalls Club, and through LinkedIn, I've got a Calendly, which I know you're familiar with, Callan, and you can book me in any time. So you can book in a phone call, video call, or even have coffee at Tattersalls. So to be honest, I'm happy to meet you anywhere. I'm a big believer in, sometimes my home visit's the most exciting. I get to see people's pets and kids and all the little things, and get to know a bit more about them, because I feel, it is about a personal relationship as well. So, that's Sydney is sort of where to go. I'm trying to sort of get interstate as well. And I was in Perth recently, and looking to get to so the other states, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Tassie as well. So reach out and through LinkedIn, or you can send me an email, Stephen with a v.s@initium.com.au, and happy to have a chat.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for coming on there, Stephen. And anyone rewatching, thank you for tuning in. And great to be chatting to you today, Stephen. Have a great day, mon ami.
Pleasure. Thanks so much, Colin. Have a great day.
Thanks so much, everyone.